If I put these down on my...
Hello, everybody. Welcome to our live stream. Mom's adjusting her glasses so they won't glare. Anyways, this session is on mind's allness. Seeing that it's mind which uncovers the spiritual fact of wholeness or health, mind must be present if we are to experience what's called healing. The apparent difficulties of human beings furnish the opportunity by which divine principle and its immutable law may be observed through actual experience. The impersonality of truth or divine science makes it the noblest study that can engage our attention. If mind were person instead of principle, there would be no science of healing. In fact, there would be no science of any kind, and the body of thought constituting the achievements of mankind would not be. See, if the principle, source, and substance of all being were not mind, then the intelligence that seems to be human would not exist. A personal sense of ourselves is primarily a personal sense of the principle of existence. Immortality is not attained by mortals. Immortality is our inevitable, primal, and eternal state. There is no mortal being. All being is essentially immortal without beginning or end. If we insist on being mortals struggling to achieve immortality through some method, then the belief of mortality will persist. If, on the other hand, we assume our divine right and insist upon our divine being by being divine, good, capital G, is then the only presence. The only presence is the mind known as God. Mind, being eternal, when demonstrated as our own mind, precludes the possibility of mortality. If we were not primarily immortal, we could never become so. And that's taken from, it's a quote from Bicknell Young, from Christian Science Re-Explored by Margaret Laird, pages 119 to 120. Welcome, Mom. How are you?
Fine, thanks.
Excellent. Anything else you want to say as we introduce the subject of mind's allness?
Well, yeah, to me, the biggie is to really be aware when you're indulging in the personal sense of yourself or another. Because personal sense is simply a point of view. It's not a fact.
Right.
And if you're not dealing with facts, you have no science.
Yep. Okay. Well, shall we dive right in then?
Yep.
Okay, in Christian Science Re-Explored by Margaret Laird on page 120, she wrote, Mrs. Eddy presents the idea that in all seeming, being is the seeming.
Yep. You know, you can't pull the facts apart and still have the facts. So the actual presence is being. The actual presence is identifying the God idea as what is here now. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's whatever you see, feel, hear, taste, touch is identifying the God idea. I mean, it's sourced by that, by being.
Well, it's not only sourced by, but constituted.
Okay.
There
Yeah.
isn't anything else present.
Right. Yeah. And it has to be the way it is for you. It's the only way it can be, right?
Yep.
Okay. She describes the technique of scientific metaphysics as resolving things into thoughts.
Yep.
Okay. Now, in Science and Health on page 171, starting on line 12, mind's control over the universe, including man, is demonstrable. Science.
It's demonstrable science.
Right.
Yeah. So that's the
Talk
only
about that for just a minute. Keep going.
you know, its mind not only controls it, but constitutes what's going on. So it's the only thing going on at all. Kim took a brief exit to fix something. Mind's control over the universe, including man, is demonstrable science. Well, that's because mind constitutes the universe, including man. So, of course, there's only one thing going on. All is infinite mind, infinitely manifest. And this is what it looks like.
All right. And at this point, I should say, if you have any questions at all, we welcome all questions. Just type them into your comments and we can pull them up. There is a little bit of a lag, but if you do that while we're live, we'll take in those conversations as well into our discussion. So feel free to do that. We love that interaction. All right. And for more discussion on this, Jesus illustrated the divine principle and power of immortal mind by healing sick and sin. Healing sickness and sin.
Yeah.
Anything more you want to say about that?
No.
Okay. Clear. All right. So, and then in Mind is the Athlete on page 89, Betty, you wrote, all areas of living are affected by your speaking and listening, including health, relationships, employment, and peace. So say more about that. All areas of living are affected by your speaking and listening.
Well, because you constitute the world you walk through. You make it as you go.
Yes.
So if I'm making it as I go, it's all a mental process. It's a mental presence.
Okay.
And we make the world we walk through as we walk.
Right.
That's why it's unique for each one.
Right. And it looks the way it looks. I was in a conversation the other day and really looking at, it's easy for me when things are a particular way for me to say, yes, it's all God's being. And this is the way it looks. This is my world. And it gets harder for me to say, this is my world when the picture doesn't fit my pictures. Like if something happens and I don't like what happened, it's harder for me to own that as my world.
Yeah, it's like the facts of being or the facts of mathematics or anything. You can own what you like, but you have to own what you don't like because it's all one thing. There's a principle of mathematics, whether it's plus or minus, and you're working with it. It is all an established order of being,
right?
Self-constituted, and it proves itself. And there's nothing you can do to alter it. All you can do is acknowledge it and keep walking on.
Right.
That all is infinite mind is a fact.
Mm-hmm.
And whether I honor it or not, I live my life according to my perception and response, including that fact.
Mm-hmm. Right. So say more about all areas of living are affected by your speaking and listening. Say more about it.
I make the world I walk through as I walk. So everything I say, everything I do feeds into everything that shows up from moment to moment to moment to moment as on I go. I make the world I walk through because I am that world being seen the only way it can be seen at the moment.
Right. Okay.
And that shifts all the time.
Right.
Because the perception establishing what's going on for you is present with you as you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, as you go, so goes your world.
Right. Right. Well, let me try this out on you and see what you think. So, you know how I say you can head east and you can keep heading east and you can keep heading east, but if you just turn around, you're as far east as you can ever be.
Or you're as far east as you want to go.
Right. But that's what I'm saying is that what I in a conversation, what kind of opened up, and I want to run this by you is if you're in an argument about what's so something happened, you don't like it, you wish it was different, boy, would you change it, blah, blah, blah. To me, that's rearranging the furniture of the circumstances, right? It has nothing to do with being. It's just you in an argument with it, resisting what's so. So you're heading east and you're heading east and you're heading east. And eventually when this and that and the other thing works out, then life will be grand. Life will be lovely. It'll be just perfect, right? So that's heading east. But at the moment that I get that all is one and I'm willing to own it, that's like turning around and being as far east as you can ever be.
Yeah, it's like including it all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like you can do that at any moment. So when you're in an argument with the circumstances, you don't like them and you wish they were different, you're just heading east. And onward you'll go until you turn around. And in that instant that you turn around, it's all present.
Yeah. And the secret in that lies in the fact, really, the fact that I make it as I go.
Yeah.
So when I turn around, it's different.
Right.
I'm no longer heading east.
It's like I'm accepting, allowing it to be.
Well, and owning it.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I can turn around.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll turn around.
Yeah. Okay. I just wanted to play with that idea.
When I recognize that, I can stop fighting with the belief that it's happening out there and I'm not in control.
Right.
I have to give that up.
Right.
There's no out there and there's no one else running the show but me, my show.
Right.
So when I give all that up, I just am being whatever is going on each moment.
And freedom is right there.
Yeah.
Freedom shows up. It's like it comes right there with it. Because when you're not free, you're a victim. If it's something out there in your world that's not you, it's got to be something else, and you're at the effect of them, then you're the victim.
Well, and that's something that is, you make that up as you go, you know. You're not ever a victim. You're the source and condition of everything going on in your experience.
Exactly. But you may not be willing to see that or live from there.
Yeah, well, too bad about that.
Exactly. But I'm just saying that you may not have any access to that while you're trying to rearrange the furniture and head more east until you give that up or allow things to be, i.e. acknowledge the facts of being.
Yeah, and it isn't so much about it isn't so much about stopping arranging the furniture. It's more like, so what?
You're right. Like, don't have it be significant.
It doesn't make any difference.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's right. So it immediately loses any power to establish itself in your world as something to be done something about.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
If I see that it isn't a substance separate from my own being, I don't have to do anything with it.
Right.
I just have to allow it to be.
Yeah.
Whatever it looks like.
Yeah. Okay. All right, cool.
And that's not always easy, you know.
No, it's not easy. That's what I'm saying. It's a discipline, and it's it's the learning of being able or being willing to own it, to own all of it.
Yeah, and there's a bit of a discernment there that it's just language.
Mm-hmm.
When you recognize that if I put on a blue coat, guess what? I got a blue coat on. So what?
Mm-hmm.
It isn't like I can't have a blue coat on. I don't want a blue coat on. It's none of that.
Right.
It's like, oh, okay.
Right. You know what just came into my head is the guy who would go to work and he'd bring his lunch, right? And he'd go to work and he'd open it up and he'd say, "Dang it, another peanut butter sandwich." And this went on for a while. And finally, this guy said, "Well, why don't you tell your wife not to make you peanut butter sandwiches?" And he said, "What's this got to do with my wife? I make my own peanut butter sandwiches."
Leave my wife out of it.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Now, again, in Mind as the Athlete, your book, you wrote, "Lived with authenticity, your word and your experience of life are one integrated whole."
Yeah. And the secret in there is the word authenticity.
Mm-hmm.
If it's authentic and if it's real for you. Yeah.
Okay.
You know, if I say the words all is infinite mind,
Yeah.
that doesn't mean anything.
No.
But if I live the words, if I live that thought, that fact, that idea, all is infinite mind, it's mental perception all the way through, in and out and up and down. All is infinite mind. That's a different thing than just all is infinite mind.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah.
Right. All right. And in Christian Science Re-Explored, Margaret Laird on page 120, she wrote, "He who is being science will not work mentally to build up concepts of good." And isn't that like saying he who is being science won't be rearranging the furniture and trying to control the picture?
Well, it's a little different than that because you're talking about your point of view.
Right. But it says will not work mentally to build up concepts of good.
Right.
So to me, that says, when I'm trying to build up concepts of good, it's me trying to rearrange the furniture, the circumstances of my life to better conform to my notion of what good would be.
It'll never work.
I know it won't, but that's what it says.
Yep.
He who is being science will not work mentally to build up concepts of good.
Right.
Instead, we'll just allow it to be. It is what it is. Walk on.
And the hard thing is to leave it alone, which is what you do when you understand that it's just a concept of good.
Right. Right.
That's the way it looks. Oh, okay. Maybe
Right.
so, maybe not,
Okay, cool. Who knew I'd have all these questions today? Who knew? All right. And more discussion on that. His surroundings, clothes, food, friends all inform him in the language of his discernment that all of his living is self or soul living.
Yep.
And that's CSR 120 and 121. And that's exactly it. It's just owning the whole world of it.
Yeah, and allowing it to be.
Yes.
Yeah. There's something about being able to leave it alone that has it do what it does and disappear.
Right.
Doesn't run the show, but it also is present because it identifies a fact that's present.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the way it looks right now. Oh, okay. On we go.
Right. Just nothing to be done with it.
Well, yeah, and more from the comfort, if I can use that word, of your perception that it's all one thing going on.
Right.
Regardless, when I think it's terrible, there's only one thing going on. When I think it's wonderful, there's only one thing going on. All the in between, there's only one thing going on. It's like, Betty, wake up. This is all okay. It's neither here nor there. It makes no difference at all. It's a point of view. It's your perception
Right.
of a reality present. And however you see it, the reality present is whole, perfect, complete, etc.
Right.
Yeah. And your view of it may not be whole, perfect, complete, but what's present is.
Okay. Got it. All right. In Science and Health on page 171, line 17, Mary Baker Eddy said it this way: mistaking his origin, land, nature, man believes himself to be combined matter and spirit.
Leave
That
off
should say
the L.
original. Huh?
Leave off the L. It's origin and nature.
Oh, origin and nature. Got it. I was thinking it was either original or something. Anyways, mistaking his origin and nature, man believes himself to be combined matter and spirit.
Yep. And that's a belief system that has no root in fact.
Right.
What you believe has nothing to do with what's actually there. And when you believe it, you're saying to yourself, that's my point of view.
Okay. That's good. I like that. When you believe something, it's just all you're doing is pointing out your point of view.
Yep.
I like that. That's good.
Because all is infinite mind.
Right. Okay. Yeah. All right. The intellectual, the moral, the spiritual. Yeah, the image of infinite mind subject to non-intelligence.
It should be a question mark there, but the book didn't have a question mark.
What should be?
It's like the intellectual, the moral, the spiritual, the image of infinite mind, subject to non-intelligence.
Oh, got it. And it's not
Didn't have
possible.
a question mark there, but that's the way it is.
Okay. All right. So the question mark. So if I say the intellectual, the moral, the spiritual, the image of infinite mind, subject to non-intelligence. So it's all intelligence functioning.
That's right.
Got it. Okay.
Good.
All right. It just seems like it's so complicated to say it that way.
Well, Mrs. Eddy wasn't always simple.
Oh. All right. Now, in Mind is the Athlete on page 89, you wrote it this way: if your words are empty and your experience of life is shallow, your impact as an individual will be less satisfying and less fulfilling to you.
Yep.
Well,
So,
that stands to reason for me. That seems like a logical sentence.
yeah, but how many people say, oh, well, that's shallow. That doesn't matter. What they're doing is talking about their own point of view. And they're looking at it like somebody should fix that over there, so it
Right.
doesn't look so shallow and stupid and so on.
Oh, got it. So it's just all you're doing is seeing yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. What else is there to see?
Right.
If all.
Nothing if you're shallow. It's only so much depth.
Okay, Kim.
I'm just kidding. All right. And to speak authentically is to be whole.
Yep.
What's the difference between speaking authentically and speaking your mind?
Speaking facts. When we speak our mind, we usually have a concept of our mind and we think it's our, yep, this is the way it is because it's the way I believe it.
It's the way I feel. It's the way something.
Yeah. So speaking authentically is really factual living.
Okay. And in Christian Science Re-Explored on page 121, Margaret Laird wrote, all of his living is self or soul living.
Mm-hmm.
So it's, I like to say, well, it's what you've said so many times, is it's all a laboratory of our own self-discovering.
That's right. Every single day is that.
Yeah.
It's a self-discovering situation.
Right. Okay. Soul is consciousness, unclouded sensibility.
Yep.
So unclouded sensibility.
Well,
I don't say more about that.
Well, the God idea is consciousness. So if I'm conscious, what's there?
Unclouded sensibility.
The God idea in action.
Right.
Yeah. God idea in action is soul living. It's God living. It's the God idea in action. It's called man. Yeah.
All right, cool. All right. In Science and Health, Mary Baker Eddy wrote on line 17 or page 171, line 23, no sympathy exists between the flesh and the spirit.
Yeah. And why would that be?
Because the flesh doesn't exist.
And
Well, so there would be no sympathy.
all is infinite mind.
All is infinite mind. Well, there's only one presence.
That's right.
So there's nothing, there's no betweenness.
No, the point of view has no substance.
Right.
Reality is present.
Right.
Soul is consciousness, unclouded sensibility.
Okay.
So it's the God's eye view.
The God's eye view. Okay. All right, cool. The so-called laws of matter are nothing but false beliefs that intelligence and life are present where mind is not.
So does
And
that
mind
mean,
is all.
I was just going to say, is there some place where that wouldn't be in effect?
Right. Right. Yeah, because we're not talking about all like all of a box of cereal.
Right.
We're talking about all like all, like everywhere.
Like all
Everything.
present.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. And in Mind is the Athlete on page 91, you wrote, intelligence is universal and not personal.
Yep.
And that's correct. It's our own. Do we make it personal when something happens, maybe to someone we know, and then we say, why would God do that to them? Is that making it personal?
Well, that is, but it isn't what this is talking about.
I know, but I was just curious.
Yeah, sure.
That would be not really getting.
That would be having something over there that isn't okay.
Right. Right.
All
Right.
it's,
Right. Right.
all it's doing is saying you close your eyes, you're not looking at it. It's not me.
Right. Right. What? I don't see it. I don't see it. La 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 la.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Cool. And this inherent capacity of consciousness allows contributions from my others and to live all of my world as my own self-discovering.
With a capital S.
Right.
So it's all self-discovering. The world
Right.
I walk through is my self-discovering, showing up every instant.
So no matter who shows up seemingly in my world, whether I like it or I don't like it, I could entertain the point of view that it's all contribution.
Well, whether you entertain it or not, that's all it is.
That's all it is.
Yeah. And Bicknell Young used to look out at the ocean and say, behold my beautiful body.
Right.
There is nothing that isn't my being.
Okay.
All is infinite mind. And here I am. That's the way it looks. Oh,
Right.
okay.
Yeah. And it's all a laboratory for my own self-discovering.
That's right.
Yep. Okay. Is there anything you want to say to wrap it all up?
I am the world I walk through. And the world I walk through walks through me.
Yeah.
There's nothing going on.
Okay. Right on. All right. Anything else you want to say on this topic? Mind's allness.
That's it.
That's it. We're all done. Okay. Anyways, that's all there is. We didn't get any comments. Think about leaving a comment when you come out. We love them. And anyways, and if you're on YouTube, if you give us a thumbs up, a subscribe, that helps us get the word out and spread the word and spread the audience. So we appreciate that. And if you like this session, you can give it a thumbs up or a heart, either way. Anyways, we will see you in the next week or so. We don't know if it's next week or the week after that or what, because we're kind of shifting our schedules around, but stay tuned.
Travel is going on.
Right. And you'll see when it is, and you can join us and we look forward to it. All right. Until next time. See ya. Live mind's allness and notice your point of view and be willing and
Notice
accept
that all
it,
of it is your point of view.
because all of it's your point of view. But notice where you get hooked, and then look at it and just let it be. Just turn around, heading east, flip it around.
Allow
You'll
it.
be as far east as you can be. All right, enough of that. We'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.